The Kansas City Chiefs pulled off a 23-14 win against the Houston Texans in the divisional round, and what a game it was. It was close and competitive throughout, but the Chiefs' defense made the difference. They racked up 8 sacks, while the Texans only managed 3. Now, 3 sacks isn't bad at all, but the Chiefs' offensive line gave Patrick Mahomes just enough time to work his magic. Mahomes connected with Travis Kelce, who had an outstanding game, finishing with 117 yards and a touchdown. This could be Kelce's last season if the Chiefs manage to complete their three-peat, and it's starting to look like they might. If that's the case, Kelce could be hanging up his cleats for good, but he's certainly going out with another incredible playoff run. Last year was incredible for him, and this year is shaping up to be just as special. I also have to mention Xavier Worthy, who picked up 45 yards, and Kareem Hunt, who was impressive with 44 yards rushing and a touchdown. Mahomes had a quieter game with 16 completions on 25 attempts for 177 yards, but the Chiefs didn't need him to do too much with the defense playing so well. Looking ahead, Kansas City won't face a defensive line like the Texans in their next games, but the Texans' defense, with players like Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter, is certainly a tough challenge. Regardless, the Chiefs are a well-coached, disciplined team, and they're ready for whatever comes next. It was a tough game for Houston. They only managed to run for 50 yards and threw for 177, but the Chiefs' defense really stepped up. It was a huge factor in giving Kansas City great field position throughout the game, especially with that opening return. This was one of those games where the Chiefs' defense, which has been the best all season, showed exactly why they're so dominant. C.J. Stroud didn't even throw for a touchdown, finishing with 245 yards and 28 completions, which is decent, but not enough to keep up with the Chiefs. Joe Mixon added 88 yards and a touchdown, but Houston struggled to make explosive plays. They couldn't throw the ball deep down the field, and against a team like the Chiefs, that's a major problem. If you can't stretch the field, you won't be able to compete. Looking at the bigger picture, the top teams in the AFC, like the Bills and Ravens, are also very explosive, which is why they're still in the hunt. The Chiefs are the number 1 seed, but the Ravens and Bills, seeds 2 and 3, are both strong contenders. It's just the way the playoff picture shakes out sometimes. The Chiefs know that as the competition gets tougher, the offensive challenges will increase, but they're also aware that the Ravens' defense is playing well right now, too. The Texans' defense is the real deal, and honestly, the Chiefs had a tough time putting up points. They scored 23, which isn't bad, but it felt like they couldn't find a rhythm. Their offense came in bursts, and they weren't able to sustain drives consistently. Hopefully, they can improve on that in the AFC Championship, where they'll need to move the ball more efficiently. Looking at the game overall, George Karlaftis was the standout player for me. He had 3 sacks, and his impact just grew as the game went on, especially the sack that led to a blocked field goal. The Chiefs' special teams have been playing incredible football, and the defense is definitely showing up. The offense, though, still has some work to do. Mahomes faced a lot of pressure, and aside from Xavier Worthy, it felt like no other Chiefs receiver made a big impact. DeAndre Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster had targets, but it wasn't much more than that. Hollywood Brown almost connected on a deep ball, but it was incomplete. For Kansas City to keep moving forward, they'll need more from Kelce and Worthy. Right now, those two are the primary playmakers. Hollywood brings that speed, and DeHop has the route running and hands to make a difference. The Chiefs will need to tap into that potential to truly find their offensive rhythm. I definitely expect Matt Nagy and Andy Reid to come up with a game plan next week to get the ball into the hands of their key playmakers. What makes Kansas City so dangerous right now is that they don't need to score 30-plus points to win. Their defense has been so strong that if they can put up 20-plus points, they're in a great position to win. It all starts with the defensive front, led by Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. But it doesn't stop there. Charles Omenihu made some key plays, and Derek Nottie had his moments too. I can't forget about Mike Dana and rookie Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who has been stepping up big time. These guys are rotating in and out and making crucial plays. Even though Josh Uche wasn't on the field for this game, the depth on this defensive line is insane. To sack C.J. Stroud 8 times in a playoff game, that's unheard of. You just don't see that very often. With the way Kansas City's defense is playing, it's hard not to believe they could make another run at the Super Bowl. When you look at teams like the Ravens, Bills, and others like the Eagles and Rams, it's clear the Chiefs are ready to compete with anyone. A lot of teams just won't be able to move the ball consistently against the Chiefs. We've already seen the Bills beat them, and honestly, that's the one team I think could pose a serious challenge for Kansas City. But the Chiefs are so well-rounded, they don't need everything clicking to win. In this game, the offense didn't play at its best, but the special teams and defense were outstanding, and the offense will only get better from here. The Texans have a great defense, and even though the Chiefs won 23-14 in a low-scoring physical game, I was still impressed with their performance. It was a tough battle, but that's what the Chiefs thrive in. And let's not forget, Kansas City also has home field advantage moving forward. While the Bills managed to beat the Chiefs in Buffalo earlier, any future game between them would have to be in Kansas City. As for the Ravens, the Chiefs have already beaten them, and Lamar Jackson has struggled against Kansas City throughout his career. That's something the Chiefs have in their favor, for sure. Oh, and let's not overlook Leo Chenal's blocked kick. It was a huge moment. The Texans' defense did play well, though, and Joe Mixon had a solid game, rushing for 88 yards on 18 carries. He definitely gave the Chiefs some trouble. There weren't any big runs in this game. Joe Mixon's longest was just 13 yards. He did get things going to start the second half, but overall the Texans couldn't really break free on offense. The biggest surprise for me was Patrick Mahomes throwing for only 177 yards. But honestly, that doesn't really matter. The Chiefs have become a team that can win low-scoring games. They focus on taking the ball away and putting themselves in good field positions, whether through big returns or fourth-down stops. The Chiefs had several of those stops in this game. A lot of credit goes to the coaching staff, Spagnuolo, Reed, and Nagy, for putting together a solid game plan. The Chiefs don't need to blow teams out. They just need to win, and that's exactly what they've been doing the past few years. Right now, there's no better team in football than the Kansas City Chiefs. This win also marked their 12th straight victory in a one-score game, games decided by 8 points or less. In close games, you've got the Chiefs' elite defense, and then you've got Patrick Mahomes. That's a combination you can always trust. Whether it's needing a stop or needing to score, you have confidence in both of those. That's the beauty of Kansas City. They have the best defense, the best quarterback, great coaching, and an incredibly talented roster. That's all I've got for you guys today. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.